should be here beneath me, to feel me, to heal me. You should be here to wrap me and incline me. You should try me, you should be here. I'm a good man and I work hard on my night job. Let me show you what you're missing every day. You should be. Once I get you, you ain't never gonna walk away. Yeah. Yes, honey, you should be here. Hi, guys. Welcome to Hearing Crystal Clear. It is February the 9th, 2021. I hope all is well with everybody. Oh, man, we got a great class today. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. This is gonna be a long one, so that means it's a good video, okay? I hope all is well with everybody and everybody all is well. But I think it's important to focus on the history of things because everybody knows that history repeats itself. So if we figure out where we come from, then we can also learn where we're going to go to in the future. So it kind of plays out like a blueprint for the way you should live life or how you should maybe ascend in life. Okay, so let's get started. Today's video, we're going to talk about historical timeline trigger events. Okay, now everybody know that your history is wrong, okay? The history that you sit down in your indoctrinated classes is wrong. The history that you've been given by your aunts and uncles and your grandpas and your grandmothers is wrong, okay? That's the story of his story, not our story, okay? So, if we really want to look into the gist of things, it's almost like if everybody forgot they were a god. So now it's like you're a god with amnesia. Everybody's walking around, you're all gods, and you all have amnesia, and you forgot who you were. So this is what I'm here to do. I'm here to jog your memory and try to help you to understand where you come from, who you really are, what it means to be a nationality and not a race, okay? And some of you are not even from here. Some of you are from other galaxies, okay? We're all part of the Galactic Federation. We're all part of the cosmos. Everything is one, okay? So that whole Bible crap and all that stuff is not your history. I'm telling you, you were tricked, okay? You forgot who you were. You were a god. You're royalty, and I'm here to jog that memory. So let's get into it, okay? Let me give you the real history of being a human, a galactic being, an angel, or whatever your deity or whatever your bloodline has perceived you to be. All right, so we're reading from the Ascension Glossary of the amazing Lisa Renee, who gave us permission to share this information far and wide. And somebody asked me the other day, like, why do I believe in this information so much? Because, to be honest, it resonates with my soul. All right, it feels like the truth. And I've been through a lot of research. I've been through a lot of articles. I've been through a lot of books. I've been through a lot of history. I've seen everybody's side of the story. And with this one, it just seems like, this is it. Eureka. This is what we've been looking for. The missing puzzle and our piece of history that everybody has forgotten. Okay? Your history does not predate 6,500 years ago or 4,500 years ago or 450,000 years ago. This planet, this cosmos, this universe, this galaxy, this paradigm, this place that we all exist in has existed for eons, billions and billions of eons, okay? And you're just getting, okay, you got to think about it. The planet has been destroyed. This galaxy has been destroyed so many times over, and they keep reinventing it, and they keep piecing it and putting it back together. And you keep joining the timeline of being a part of humanity who comes back and save the earth from its destruction of itself and the sins of the man, okay? So, with that being said, I'm going to take you down to your actual true history of what you really come from, what life really is, who you really are, and some background on what the big fuss is about the paradigm Earth you're living on, okay? Now, this is historical timeline trigger events. These specific historical timeline trigger events are directly related to the seed of casual events of the main galactic war histories evolving humanity.
The Archon War against humanity originated from the timelines of the Lyrian and Orion Wars in the higher Harmonic universe. All right, so when we give this its own link, as we per norm do, we get to the Lyrian Wars, okay? The Lyrian Wars is the main battles in the human galactic history were fought in the constellation of Orion, and so these many wars were also referred to as the Orion Wars. However, in our universal time matrix, the wars started over the territories in the constellation of Lyra, the cradle of Lyra, and the Lyrians are the advanced races that created the Elohim in the Avatar matrix. Remember, hence the movie Avatar? Let's all get our little graphics going here. So once again, there's Hollywood throwing another hint at you, giving you the truth, but masked as entertainment. Okay? These movies in Hollywood, I highly recommend that you look into, watch, not for entertainment, but for ascension of knowledge. Okay? You have to grow your knowledge, and sometimes movies are part of the homework, okay? So studying can be fun because some of the clues are not all just boring books. Some of the clues can be movies, music, short stories, cards, games, anything. You have to follow the clues in life to actually piece everything together. So it's like you're playing a really big game of Dungeons and Dragons or StarCraft or Destiny, all of those games like that. Call of Duty, any kind of game you see, Tom Clancy, Rainbow, all of those stuff, they're leading you to a bigger piece in life. So being a student of life is not always boring. Sometimes you get to watch cool movies and games and stuff to figure out the clues and the symbology that they keep trying to tell you of your reality that's really current. So the Avatar movie is an American epic science fiction film directed and written and produced by James Cameron. So a paraplegic Marine dispatched to a moon Pandora on a unique mission becomes torn between following his orders and protecting the world he feels is his home. Okay? So how much does it say? And remember the Avatar. Remember Aang, the Avatar? He was a god and he didn't want to be a god, but he was playing around so much that when the earth needed him the most, when he was supposed to become a ascended master and a guru, he went off and played and didn't learn to be a god or learn how to hone his skills. And by the time he came back, the earth was destroyed and everybody was destroyed with it. Okay? Hollywood is trying to hip you to the game of who you really are. You just have to pay attention. Okay? Please pay attention. So, the Lyrians are the advanced races that created the Elohim. All right, let's look at the Elohim. The Elohim is the Lyrians further down stepped into consciousness into the next lower density in the third harmonic layers by creating another identity. And these race lines were designed to exist with the dimensional layers of the monadic spirit plane. This race was created by the Lyrian founders to specifically oversee the projects of the Lyrian-Syrian genetic seedings occurring on Tara. And these particular groups are known as the Elohim, okay? Further, the Syrian High Council was organized by then and appointed by the Lyrians to be the main overseers of seeding life on the planet Terra and the next lower dimension in the second harmonic universe, okay? Now, let me show you about this harmonic universe. The harmonic universe is very, very important to us because it states how life, the reality of life and all its existence, okay? The harmonic universe is the universal time matrix, and it's comprised of 5 density levels that each hold 3-dimensional holographic fields within them, or groups of 3 spectrum of frequencies that manifest as platforms of consciousness, perception, and expression. That's why the CIA admitted that we live in a holograph, okay? In a hologram, okay? They tried to tell us this. Now they're leaking all this information now that their time is up, okay? So now they're telling you you lived in a hologram forever. So each of these density levels are organized into a trinity of dimensional reality fields, and each of these reality fields are also called harmonic universes, or HU, like the Marvel universe. I can see the Hollywood movies are trying to tell you so much. Okay, this is why we now have the Marvel universe. And remember, in the video games and Injustice, they were living in the parallel universes, in the parallel paradoxes, okay? So there are consciousness levels that have characteristics in the blueprint that result in matter forms and consciousness perception that is unique to each harmonic universe or density, which each is an expression of the God source, and its collective consciousness or life form has many stations of identity that exist in each of the dimensional realities of the harmonic universes. Now, for human beings, these consciousness bodies exist throughout the densities and are aspects of the higher self and the light body. These aspects are called the stations of identity. So in the first harmonic universe, you have the first dimension, second dimension, third dimension exists the personality matrix. That's where you're incarnated as a human, okay? That's why we are living right now on the third dimension. And when we die, or when we go on to better ourself, it becomes the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, and sixth dimension. And the fourth dimension is also when we go to sleep and we dream. That's how when you go to bed at night, you say your prayers, Lord, when you get on your knees and you say, let me wake up. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. That because when you go to sleep, you slip into the fourth dimension, okay? That's why when people go to sleep, some people don't wake up. Okay, you have to really pay attention to what they're trying to tell you, because this is how life really is. So, and that's why the movie Inception is telling you that when you transition, which is alter your state into the fourth dimension of consciousness, okay, in your subconscious, where you can keep secrets, you can keep alter realities, you can keep parallel universes, you can move throughout the ether, throughout the dimensions, throughout the paradoxes, throughout the universes, by going to sleep and switching your theta, your beta, and your alpha, and all of those good things that we call consciousness, okay? So then, therefore, in the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, and the sixth dimension, that's where you exist with your soul matrix, your second harmonic. Your third harmonic universe is the seventh dimension, the eighth dimension, the ninth dimension, okay? That's where your true self exists. That's where your monad, okay? That's where your soul tie to your original self is really existing. So that's why you want to keep your vibrations high so you can reach yourself in the seventh dimension, the eighth dimension, and the ninth dimension, okay? That's why you have to walk like God. You are a God. You cannot keep staying in this incarnated human, okay? It's a meat vessel. It does not last long, right? So you have to keep elevating your consciousness, elevating your soul's essence to reach Christ-like ascendance, okay? Christ consciousness is intelligence, okay? You are a God, so you have to get back to your God mode, your true God self. That's why the fourth harmonic universe is the 10th dimension, 11th dimension, 12th dimension, and it's the Christos avatar, as in the movie Avatar, okay? You are gods. That's why they tell indigenous people of color, okay, so black you blue, you are blue, okay? Because indigo does not mean, let me show you what indigo means. Forgot my W, but it'll catch it. Let me show you. All right, indigo is a blue dye obtained from various plants, especially of the genus Indigofera, a manufactured synthetically indigo blue. Okay, indigo is a blend of blue and purple, symbolizing spirituality, wisdom, devotion, creativity, fairness, impartiality, justice, and dignity. Okay, symbolism of the color indigo in one's personality. People who are fond of this color are thought to have traditional outlook. That because they are the indigenous people. Okay, the etymology of the word indigenous is indigo. Okay, you are these people. You are from these people. Hello. See? Wikipedia says indigo is a deep and rich color close to the color wheel blue. 7 traits of indigo adults are said to have. Watch this. Let me show you what it means to be indigo. You are the indigo starseed from these planets. and I'm trying to break it down for you, okay? Indigo children, they always need to know why, okay? These are the seekers of the realm. They dislike unnecessarily authoritarian regimes. Okay? They cannot bear to see others suffering. They're empathetic nurturers. They're empaths. They have a close affinity with animals. They're really good with animals. They can heal humans and animals. They have feelings of existential despair. Sometimes they're always going through an existential crisis. They may have had some unusual spiritual experiences. These people are psychic and they're spiritual, okay? These are supernatural people. These are the Storms and the Rogues and the Jean Greys, the Deans and the Winchesters and the Mamawatas and the Vudans and the Brujas. These are the oracles and the prophetess, okay? The people with vision. They feel a strong need to find their life purpose, okay? And they're part of the original New Age, the real New Age, not the fake New Age that they're making money off us of, but the Enlightenment movement, okay? The Great Awakening. These are the people who are the warriors in this army. So you're really special people. You still have your senses and your intuition and your magic within you, and that's a good thing. So, back to it. Harmonic universe. Okay. So that's when you're, that's in the fourth harmonic universe, is the Christ avatar. Okay. And the fifth harmonic universe, which is the 13th dimension, the 14th dimension, and the 15th dimension, is just the 3 layers of the Rishi matrix, the threefold founder flame. Okay. And this story gets really, really good. It goes deep. But let's finish this lesson out. So I showed you what the harmonic universe and the avatar was, and the Lyrian wars, okay? So we went to the Lyrian wars in the universal time matrix, all right? So they created the Elohim in the avatar matrix, but soon the Lyrian wars spread to the constellation of Orion, and it became a war between the false king of tyranny mindsets and ideologies, with the ideology with the service to others, which follow the law of one. Essentially, this is a seed of war over consciousness between the Christ and the Antichrist, okay? This is why you cannot choose bad at any time. When you are a God, you cannot be evil, because here's the thing. You have the light and the dark. You cannot be warm. You cannot be lukewarm. You cannot be in between. You cannot be gray, okay? You either have to be white or black, good or bad, forth. And I had a lot of people, question me, what if Donald Trump is really, really trying to help us? And what if he was bad and then he flipped and went good? Here's the thing about that. It's too late. Okay? He made an oath. He made a blood oath. He signed a soul contract with the Dark Lord. Okay? He picked his side. It's really hard for him to come back because he made that pact. Okay? Once you get initiated in that world, once you take your side, you cannot come back. If that was the case, Lucifer would have came back a long time ago. He would have said, God, I give up my fight and I want to come back. He already tried that. God said no. He said, no, you chose that side. Now you can't. That's why Lucifer never got back into heaven, people. This is how this stuff works. Either you're the Christ or you're the Antichrist. It's not just one person. It is a collective of consciousness, which is a collective of energy. Either you're good energy or either you're bad energy. There is no in between. Okay. You will get spit out. You will die first if you're in between. So you have to choose which master you shall serve. All right. These are not the laws that I make up. It's just a way of natural law. All right. So with this story, the big war that everybody's been fighting over is consciousness. All right. Between being good or literally being bad. But so basically being God or Lucifer. All right. It just depends on who do you want to be. Do you want to be a high vibration or do you want to be a low vibration? That's all it is, because they are one and the same. All right. And when they come together, they unify and they become the sacred marriage, which is Hermos Germos. Okay. the main original Lyrian Elohim humanoid races were committed to the law of one. All right. Remember, I just told you everything is connected. We have to go by the law of one. And that's why you really can't be a Republican, you know, kind of being a truther or kind of being a healer or a light worker or kind of being on the side of good, but still going by Republican land of the law. I mean, law of the land. Okay. It does not work that way. You cannot be eating the poor at the same time like, yeah, I fight for the good. That does not work that way. You are on one thing. You're on the law of one. You cannot say you're Republican, liberal, Green Party, no anything of that, because you're supposed to abide by the law of one. All right. Let me show you the law of one. And that's the same for the Democrats as well. Any party, anybody who think they're a part of a party or presidential campaign or anything of the sort, you cannot be, because you're supposed to be a God, sovereign, free person. Okay. Now, you're supposed to abide by the law of one. That's why laws of the land, laws of man, they don't stand a damn chance. Okay. The law of one is the comprehension that all things are made of intelligent energy and are part of all. Are a part of the all of one. The law of one is sacred science of the mechanics of Christ consciousness. Okay. And let's go over Christ consciousness one more time, because everybody keep thinking it's a literal guy called Jesus Christ, and it's not. Christ consciousness is the law of one. Christ consciousness is the comprehension that all things are made of intelligent energy and are part of all of one. Okay. So see, now, do you understand why you cannot be a Republican or a Democrat or a liberalist or any of that foo-foo fake stuff? Okay. It's just to make you human. It's for you to identify who your God is and who your idol is. And you cannot have any idols or masters or worship any man on this land. So you're really tipping the scales when you do this stuff. Okay. You can't even have a president. You cannot have a pastor. You can't even have a priest. You cannot have a bishop. You cannot have any of that, because the only thing you're supposed to worship is the one true mother goddess, the one true most high. Okay. That's it. And it's hard to get people to understand this. All right. If you're part of the good light, this is where you're supposed to be. You're not even supposed to have a religion, church, no, none of that. Okay. So, the law of one is a sacred science of the mechanics of Christ consciousness and are the natural laws governing our universal creation. All one is the recognition that eternal truth is eternal love, and eternal love is the organic consciousness of infinite creator of our God, or God. Eternal love is consciousness embodied in the form of unity intelligence and simultaneously recognized as the inner light of Christos. All right. So this is why you cannot do these things. On top of that, the unity consciousness is at one with God in unity. Consciousness ignites the inner light of Christos. The inner light of Christos, was, when actualized in form, is the embodiment of the eternal God human. Okay. I just said that you were a God with amnesia and you forgot. So you're supposed to practice unity consciousness, and one is directly reflecting the image of God's love and is evolved at all different levels. Okay. The embodiment of an eternal God human. You're supposed to practice unity consciousness, and one is directly reflecting the images of God's love and is eternally protected. You're supposed to be at one with all. You can't be racist. You can't be picky about people who are gay. You can't judge people. You can't be mad at anyone's lifestyle, no matter what they're picking. I guess even down to pedophiles. Okay. You can't have anger towards them. Okay. You have to be at all with one, but I guess that's a separation from itself. Okay. I think that's in another way. You're not for it. You're not of the darkness. So you're not going to be okay with dark stuff. All right. So, and that's why you can't judge the pedophiles, because that's only for God to do. All right. So that kind of works with that be at one with all thing. Okay. You cannot care about what anybody else is doing. You have to let God be the judge of that, and the goddess be the judge of that. So leave away from judging people. Okay. That's not your business. You have to be as one is all with God. Every soul is taking the same journey, but each soul has evolved at a different level. Okay. That's why you have to mind your business. The teachings of the law of one describe the spiritual laws that govern our spiritual evolution for each dimension. If a single philosophical system for world humanism, which merges cosmology, science, human rights, and spiritualism. Okay, that's why you can't have a Republican Party or a Democrat Party, because you're supposed to be for world humanism, natural rights, natural God-given rights. Okay, so there you have it. That's where you're supposed to be led to. So the main original Lyrian Elohim humanoid races were committed to the law of one in service to others of the Christic ideology. And the Lyrian Elohim were supervising the Syrians to host a seeding of the 12-strand DNA genetics on the 5-dimension planet Terra. These groups involved in the seeding and the DNA rehabilitation are called the Lyrian Syrian High Councils. Okay, that's why the government wants to vaccinate you so bad, because the Lyrian Elohim humanoid races was committed to the law of one in the service of other with the Christ ideology, and they were going to put your DNA strands back together to the 12th strand. Okay. And the government said, you know what? We got to keep them as our slaves. We cannot do this. If we enlighten them that they are gods, they're going to become a god and they're going to take over. They're going to take the evil away. We need the evil because we're of the dark. Okay. So the opposing groups were mixtures of patriarchal Melchizedek humanoids and reptilian races that propagated service to self. Okay, service to self is the antichrist to Christ consciousness, which is the service to others. Okay, you have to be a god, so therefore you're giving a service to others. Okay, when you're being ungodly is when you're being a service to self. You're self-centered. Okay, you're a narcissist. That type of stuff. It's the Antichrist method. These wars over tyrannical control and service to self ideology originated in the constellations of the Draco and Orion. Okay, that's why we're under draconian laws. The genetic hatred generated from the Orion group digressed into the violent killing and destruction at the expense of others, which resulted in the propagation of the victim-victimizer mind control on Earth. Okay. So the Lyrian Wars is where all of life existence got started. This is why we have been beefing since the beginning of time. And this is why the wars continue on today. But what people didn't know, that these wars have gone on for so long that it's actually a historical timeline trigger of events. And that's why you cannot play with the timeline, okay? That's why everything has a divine timing. And me explaining this to you is probably a pinnacle of why everything is going on, to better catch you up, because you have amnesia. You don't remember that, y'all, we have been fighting evil since the beginning of time. Okay. So back to the historical timeline trigger of events. I had to explain all that other stuff to break down this story. All right. So, remember, the Archon's war against humanity originated from the timelines of the Lyrian and the Orion wars, okay? Remember, over who was going to be the better god. The Lyrian and the Orion wars was the Christ and the Antichrist wars from the higher Harmonic universe. When the cradle of Lyria and several planets exploded, this further destroyed the Andromedan Stargate, leaving humanity trapped in a fallen system. That's where you have the fallen angels. Those histories of galactic warring eventually descended into many conflicts for power and control over the third dimension Earth. The Belial Sons, Luciferian Covenant, and the Black Sun program ultimately united to form the Archon's artificial intelligence and the 9/11 timeline agenda that is playing out today in the timeline wars. All right, so let's get into it. You are going to love this video. Like I said, this video is going to be very long. It is going to get deep, okay? So we're going to start off with the Belial Sons. I'm going to stop the video here just to make sure that I have time and I can upload these videos faster and I can get them going longer. So I'm going to stop this video and then we're going to come back and we're going to start video 2 of the historical timeline trigger event of the Lyrian and Orion wars, of the galactic war that is going on with humanity here and right now. All right, hearing crystal clear, I'm out.